6:02. So we'll start. So welcome to our show, and everyone who's watching us. Hi. There's a chance that I might get awkward in between, or I forget a line or two, but please forgive me in advance. All right. So, welcome to our show. Today we have with us Gursharan, the author of a deeply moving autobiographical book. Thank you for joining us. So, before we get into the questions about what the book is all about, would you like to give an introduction, a short introduction to kind of what it is about and what kind of motivated you to get to write it?
Okay, so this is my book, and this number one thing that motivated me to write the book was my love for writing, first of all, and the second thing was the experiences that I had and how people treated me because of that condition, how I was being treated, and how many people like me were being treated, and how mental health has been a huge stigma in our society. So that was my motivation, to spread awareness and to tell people ki it's not your fault.
That's important that people know that it's not their fault, right? A lot of people grow up thinking that way, right? And it's extremely dangerous to have, that kind of perspective.
Yeah. I've had that perspective all my life, and I knew that I wanted to say something about it because it helped me also personally. Writing about it and speaking my truth helped me to see the way things really were and not the way people, told me they were. I wanted to see my experience, my life, and the truth about mental health and any mental health condition and what it is. So yes.
That's really courageous, I guess, taking that step.
I'm pretty sure it won't be. I think it's not easy to write all this thing down. I'm like, so kudos to you.
Thank you. It was tough, and it's still tough when I tell people to read my book because I know they are going to know a lot about me when they read it, and I have that discomfort inside of me, but I still want them to read it.
That's great. All right. So the book contains like emotional and mental experiences of living with depression, right? So can you highlight some of these experiences and how they might be, they might resonate with other people who are facing the same things?
So depression for me was emotional, physical, mental, physiological, everything. And I know whoever has been through depression, they know what it is. They know how tough it is. They know what kind of a hell it is. And first of all, for me, the biggest obstacle was my functionality, not being able to function, not being able to get up and do stuff like other people around me. Not being able to cook for myself, not wanting to even eat, appetite na hona, and there was no motivation. There was lack of motivation. There was emotional pain, numbness, a lot of things that anybody who is suffering from depression goes through.
That must have been like really the worst phase, maybe. And
Yeah.
what the person goes through when they compare themselves with others, like the basic tasks they are not able to do.
I think I'm still going through it in this phase of my life because there are so many things I'm still not able to do that other people are able to do. Sometimes I have not had, in school times it was like I did not have motivation to get up, to go to school. I used to skip school sometimes and I used to sometimes start crying, in my class or at my home alone and not speaking to anybody for days. especially not speaking to my mom and just isolating myself and getting irritated if I was called upon and feeling extremely frustrated. And there was a lot of guilt for not being able to do things. There was a lot of frustration, a lot of anger, and the way things were around me, the way people saw me, especially in school, that was tough because I was not like other kids. I was never like them. And I thought I was not good enough. I always thought I was really weak.
So, Gushan, moving to another question, how do you think that a childhood dysfunction specifically leads to depression? Like, what is the connection? Can you explain that?
Okay, so childhood trauma, childhood dysfunction, and depression has a huge connection. It has a huge connection. Uh, what we go through as children impacts us tremendously, emotionally, mentally. It impacts us a lot. And we cannot downplay the experiences of our childhood. We cannot downplay the environment that we grew up in. We cannot downplay how things were. Even if a child has, seen a parent die, even if they have seen that, that's tremendously traumatic for the child. That's very painful. If they see their parents fight, it's painful. If they see anything that children are not supposed to see, it's painful for them. Or they are not given the emotional safety they need while growing up, because children can't survive without that. And in order to survive, the child just thinks that it is his or her fault that someone is not giving them what they need, and it's traumatizing.
Yeah, I think children are like a clean slate, and whatever they kind of get exposed to during the childhood, it impacts their mental health like a lot. It kind of makes them the person who they are, what they had
Yeah.
seen in the childhood, right? Because that's the only thing they have seen. So that's what they think is normal. That's what they think is, the way it is. So I think depression is like one thing. I think there can be other factors as well, through which this childhood trauma can come out as. Suppose like even addiction. I think a lot of people who have like broken families and who are struggling with it in their family, they do find some kind of escape in drugs and alcohol.
Yes.
I think
So
right.
addiction has a huge connection with depression and childhood trauma. Many people like go through addiction and depression simultaneously. Like
Mm,
they're going through it, you know, both of those conditions, and it's really hard to deal with because first of all, you are dependent on a substance. Even if it is a substance, it's alcohol, or even if it's Netflix or junk food, like eating disorders emerge, and it becomes really tough for that person to deal with all those kinds of feelings and all those kinds of challenges mentally. I think
right.
dealing with a mental health condition is the hardest thing a person can go through, because you're not with your own mind. Your mind is not your friend, it's your enemy all the time. It's just your enemy. And
Exactly.
addiction plays a huge role. Even addiction can cause depression, and depression can cause addiction as well.
Mm. It can go
True.
both ways, and I'm pretty sure Himanshi, as a an addiction psychologist, I think she must have also seen a number of cases where like the family situation was not good, and it led to substance abuse and then later on addiction, right, Himanshi?
Yeah, obviously, all throughout the practice, when we sit with the patients and get to know their family history, there is some or the other kind of dysfunction which exists there. जैसे सिंपल टू सिंपल पेरेंट्स के बीच में बचपन में लड़ाई होती थी और बच्चे को लाइक फिजिकल अब्यूज बच्चे को मार पड़ती थी बचपन में पेरेंट्स दोनों वर्किंग थे और उसके ऊपर बच्चे के ऊपर ध्यान नहीं दिया गया है तो ये सब फैक्टर्स है चाइल्डहुड डिसफंक्शन मतलब बहुत वेरी टाइप का हो सकता है बट
Mm.
सम ऑफ द वेरी कॉमन थिंग्स जो ऑब्जर्व किया है मैंने एंड बड़े होके वो सब्सटेंस अब्यूज आ जाता है, दैट इज लाइक वन मैनिफेस्टेशन आई सपोज। और ये किसी भी फॉर्म में जा सकते हैं, मे बी ये डिप्रेशन की साइड चले गया, सब्सटेंस अब्यूज की साइड चले गया, या कुछ और। सो जो भी चीज होगी वो सिर्फ और सिर्फ इसका एक मैनिफेस्टेशन है। ये किसी भी तरीके से इवन साइकोसोमैटिक डिसऑर्डर जो होते हैं, बॉडी में कुछ साइकोलॉजिकली कुछ इशू है या बॉडी दिखा रही है कुछ सिम्टम्स, वो सब इसी का मैनिफेस्टेशन है, लाइक वन पार्ट।
Right. I don't know. I just feel like a lot of kind of focus is on कि हाँ कंपनी खराब थी, दोस्त खराब थे, but people also need to focus कि खुद की family कैसे, how was the dynamics, how was the parents relationship, or in between the parents, या फिर बच्चों का parents के साथ कैसा relationship था, instead of just focusing कि हाँ कंपनी खराब है इस वजह से they got into something into drug abuse or anything like that. So I think
True.
that is very important.
Very true.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So, Gulshan, do you have any kind of like, I would say, some tools or strategies that you actually took up, methods that your toolbox, जिससे आपने depression के time पे when you were dealing with it, you and still right, you use those tools and आपके लिए useful है, maybe शायद किसी और के लिए भी कभी useful हो. What do you think about it?
So I personally feel different things work for different people. Just because something works for me, it's not at all important and necessary कि it should work for somebody else also. And if something works for the other person, doesn't mean it will work for me. But yeah, there are some basic things that I feel really help, like having a support system, you know, recognizing healthy people, healthy relationships, good people in your life, and maintaining connection with them, having the courage to talk about what you are going through, having the courage to speak to anybody you can trust, even if it's not a therapist. I would recommend therapy highly. I would say therapy helps a lot. It helps tremendously, and therapy can benefit you in ways that nothing else could. But I think even if it's not the option, there are other options. Yeah, trusting someone, talking to someone trustworthy, writing about it. Writing helped me immensely, and seeking help where however you can, attending self-help groups, support groups, indulging in a community, that's very important. And you of course the other issues, जिन issues से हम deal करते हैं, the other childhood issues and the other self-esteem issues or trauma and everything, that therapy is for that. Of course you can go into your deep struggle, emotional struggle, and get to know what it's about. And I want to say that it's not about just talking. Therapy is not about just talking, and it doesn't waste your time. Like many
Right.
people say that talking is just a waste of time. It's not. Honestly, it's
Trust,
not. If you're
trust
gossiping
us.
and
We know.
yeah, if you're gossiping and doing nothing else, then that might be a waste of time. But when you're talking about your struggles, when you are talking about what's really important to you emotionally, mentally, it's very helpful. So talking about a problem is not a time waste. It's
Right.
important if you do it in a way that's healthy.
I just remembered something. So I was just watching an interview, and the person, uh, she mentioned that लोग थेरेपी इसलिए नहीं जाते because they are crazy, और या वो पागल हैं. They go for therapy because they don't want to be crazy. कि आग मतलब सब कुछ अगर अंदर भर के रखा हुआ है and you're not letting your emotions out or kind of channelize it into a healthy way, and you're just storing it in your body, it would come out in a really dangerous and negative way, right? So therapy kind of provides you a space where you can actually let things out and kind of deal with them more actively. So I live by this. I was like really happy. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna use this line whenever we're gonna talk about therapy and all that.
Yes,
Right?
I also
agree.
feel that जब भी कोई इंसान थेरेपिस्ट के पास जाता है ना, सो इट इज लाइक लॉक एंड की कनेक्शन, वो हर एक के साथ में नहीं हो सकता है. यू माइट हैव टू चेंज थेरेपिस्ट. हो सकता है फर्स्ट के साथ बुरा एक्सपीरियंस रहा, फिर सेकंड के साथ बुरा रहा, मे बी थर्ड फोर्थ. बहुत हिम्मत चाहिए, बट देन डेफिनेटली अगर आपके साथ आपको वैसा थेरेपिस्ट एक अच्छा वाला मिलता है, देन थेरेपी विल डू वंडर्स फॉर यू.
Right. And I think I have a small note to the budding psychologist that it's fine if you do not vibe with your client. That's completely fine. Like, because every
True.
client is different and you cannot kind of uh, make yourself like, make them like you, you know. So it's fine if that doesn't happen. That happens with me as well, so it's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Every person
Anyway,
is different.
राइट, एवरी पर्सन इज डिफरेंट, और किसका किसके साथ कनेक्शन बनता है ड्यूरिंग द थेरेपी, सबके प्रोसेसेस डिफरेंट है जो काउंसलर्स फॉलो करते हैं,
Right.
एंड थेरेपीज डिफरेंट है, सो कौन सा क्लाइंट किसके साथ कनेक्ट करता है, यू नेवर नो.
Right. I think a simple example would be if a person is very comfortable in speaking in Punjabi, and I do not know, I'm not that fluent, right? So I think it's better if we refer the client to a
True.
counselor who's, who is able to communicate in Punjabi rather than, no, I learned Punjabi, I speak it. So, it would make the whole therapy process very difficult. So, yeah, the lock and key thing is absolutely right. So I think the strategies, some of the strategies that you mentioned, uh, you use them, right? And they worked for you, right?
Yeah.
What about like the family? Because I'm sure that when a person in the family gets diagnosed with any mental, illness, in your case, depression, there must be some changes in the family dynamics as well. There must be some things that the family needs to learn in order to kind of, uh, join the treatment plan or kind of, help the person in this, journey, recovery journey, basically.
Yeah, I would like to mention here that as much as it is difficult to deal with a mental health condition, it is equally difficult to deal with a loved one if they are, going through a mental health condition. Because I was not an easy kid. I was not an easy teenager. बचपन में नहीं पता होता. As a teenager, you don't know things, so it becomes really tough for the family to deal with your illness. Because they have to learn about it. They have to understand it, something that they have never seen, and they don't know what it's about. Like you would say कि मुझसे हो रहा है तो तुझसे क्यों नहीं हो रही ये चीज, I can do this, why can't you? It's
Right.
just a simple thing. You need to get up and do it. But no, that person is not able to do it. Then there's a reason, and they are not lazy. So,
Mm.
also, I would say that it's very important for family and teachers and school systems to understand that it's not okay to abuse the child, it's not okay to invalidate their emotions, and it's very important that you take care of your own emotional well-being if you want to, you know, give them the best.
Mm. Absolutely. I think families plays a very vital role in the treatment process because they are your biggest supporters, right? So
Mm.
if they don't support you in that journey, it would be very difficult for the person to kind of, uh, you know, get through it. Uh, you know, that is it.
राइट. कोई क्लाइंट आता है थेरेपी में फॉर एग्जांपल, बट काम नहीं हुआ है उसकी फैमिली पे, या फैमिली से
Hmm.
इश्यूज सॉल्व नहीं हुए हैं, तो जब वो पर्सन वापस तो फैमिली में जा रहा है ना, देन बहुत इशू आता है अगेन.
Hmm.
सो
Right.
बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट हो जाता है कि फैमिली भी उस ट्रीटमेंट का एक हिस्सा बन जाए, चाहे वो किसी भी फील्ड में हो, बट इट्स वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट दैट फैमिली ऑल्सो पार्टिसिपेट्स विद एन ओपन माइंड.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's important for the family to know that it's also about you, not just about them. There have been some
Right.
dynamics just की वजह से that person has, developed and acquired these problems, and it's the whole dynamic that needs to be worked upon. People
Right.
need to work on themselves if they really want to help their loved ones, and they need to also work as a team. So that's very
Hmm.
important. It's not just me who needs therapy. There are many other people around me who need therapy for sure.
Uh, I'm not gonna say anything about this. No comment. But yeah, but I have also, kind of observed that people, that family members especially, are not that willing to kind of participate in the treatment process. Um, and it kind of makes me sad because the client, in some cases, the client would be very motivated to kind of, work on the things that needs to be worked on. But the family kind of dynamic, the how should I put it? The dysfunctional patterns, they bring the patient back to the whole dysfunctionality, and it kind of makes me wonder, like, it should be compulsory. The
Yeah, I
family
feel like
should.
environment affects us. The environment that we live in, it
Hmm,
affects us tremendously. You can't say ki we exist in isolation. We do not exist in isolation. And
right.
yes, it's very important for each and every family member to recognize their own
Hmm,
issues and how they can be supportive towards the person going through the mental health
hmm.
illness and mental health condition, of course.
Definitely. And even like अगर कोई बाहर का इंसान they say something very ignorant or very negative about whatever you're going through, maybe वो इतना दिल पे नहीं लगेगा. But when it's coming from your family members, it's a whole different thing. You cannot
It's
just
very
ignore
difficult.
You
it.
cannot let it
Yeah,
go.
no, you cannot. So
It
that's
hurts. It hurts like hell.
yeah, definitely. But yeah, I am happy that you wrote about it. Very happy that okay, someone is showing the courage to actually write it all down and putting themselves in a space where other people would be reading their story and kind of get inspired from it in some way. That's actually my next question. That what do you hope readers take away from your book?
Okay. So what I hope is that they understand that it's not their fault and it's not someone's fault. If a loved one or a friend is suffering from depression, it's not that person's fault. They are not lazy, they are not like crazy, and they are not doing it purposefully. वो जानबूझ के नहीं कर रहे हैं. And it's also
Right.
very important to not give like free advice कि yoga meditation कर लो सब ठीक हो जाएगा. It's not like that. Mental health is so much broad and so much deep, and we don't realize that. We put very simple solutions forward, and they don't work for everyone.
Right.
So we need
Hmm.
to recognize that and keep an open mind.
Right. I hope ये काफी लोगों को समझ आए. Right.
Yeah.
In some way, I feel like psychology is generalized. Like a lot of things from psychology, we all of us can relate to it, but at the same time, it is also very individualistic. Not everything works for everyone, right? Even in therapy,
Yeah.
we make very individualized plan according to the person in front of us. We cannot say the exact thing, use the same kind of worksheet or workbook or any exercise with everyone, right? It's different. It's very individualistic. So I think we all need to keep that in mind before we say like these journal things. Oh, try meditation. Yeah, socho mat. Yeah, negative thoughts nahi sochna. I think that is quite common.
I think that's the
Negative mat
thing
socho.
that has offends me the most when somebody says don't think negatively, because nobody has ever healed from trauma, healed
Hmm.
from depression by thinking just positively, because there are
Right.
many layers to it. There are many
Hmm.
emotions involved, there are dynamics involved, there are so many things involved. It's just not just about the thoughts. It's not just that the
Right.
person is doing it कि मजा आ रहा है मुझे सोच सोच के overthink करके. नहीं आ रहा है किसी को भी. Nobody is enjoying that. So that's very important.
आई डू फील लाइक बाकी सब में चीजों में से एटलीस्ट ये तो जरूर रीडर सीखें दैट यू कैन नॉट जस्ट से कि हाँ नेगेटिव सोचना छोड़ दो एंड यू विल बी फाइन. दिस इज लाइक द बेसिक्स 101.
Life consists of everything. It's not about just negative and positive. It's
Yeah,
about everything, every emotion. And every
right,
emotion should be welcome.
definitely. So should we expect something else like coming from your side, may I ask? Like in the
Okay, yeah,
future?
In the future.
you can expect another book in the future. I will definitely
Okay.
go for another book. I have started writing and working on my next book.
Mhm.
Oh, that's
That's
very
great.
nice.
I wish I
Nice.
could write, but I'm not really good at it. So if
Yeah, I
you do
don't
like,
know how I will be good at it. I have no idea. It just came naturally most of the times.
No, that's very impressive and really proud of you. I have known you for quite some time now, and it's really happy. I'm really happy to see that you know you're coming forward with this, and you are getting involved in things that you like, that you feel passionate about. That's like very important. So really happy for that.
Yes. Also, I want to say that one line that's very important. Like depression
Go ahead.
is a normal reaction towards an abnormal situation in life.
Hmm. True. That wait, where did you get it from? I'm gonna
Okay,
take
I
some
got it
notes.
from it's Pete Walker. I love Pete Walker. You should read Pete Walker. Like
Okay.
he is like if you want to learn about family dysfunction and trauma and
Yeah.
depression, you should read Pete Walker. He's amazing. He's amazing.
Nice. There is a book I read, I think Big Hoon and something. I don't remember the name, but the author's mother is diagnosed with the bipolar disorder, and they like explain the depression phase so beautifully. I am so frustrated that I do not remember the statement that they used. But yeah, I think I'm gonna uh, write it in the story. So later you can read it.
Yeah, please
It's a
share
really
it.
beautiful.
I want to read it.
Done.
Yeah, please share.
I'll do that.
So, Gursharan, any last things that you would like to say or share from your book?
Um, yeah, I would like to say that please read it. It's available on Amazon, Flipkart, and Kindle. And it's not a very long book. Like you can read it in one go if you are a reader. And it's something that I've talked about the things that I could never talk about. There are things that I was not very comfortable talking about, but still I have mentioned those things because I owe it to the readers. I owe it to my readers that I talk about things honestly. And yes, at the end of the day, I want to say it's not your fault. If you're going through depression, it's not your fault. Never
Right.
let anybody tell you that it's your fault, and don't take. And also, please beware of the people who fake people on Instagram who try to become a counselor, but they are not, and try to say कि हम इतने पैसे दो and we will get you out of depression in 1500 or 900 rupees. Please
Yeah.
don't go for those scams. Please, they are not. They don't know
Yeah.
anything and they are not aware of mental health. It can be very dangerous.
Guys, please check their credentials before you take an appointment.
Yes, please
Please
check their
do.
degrees. Please check their credentials, and please, and you can, it can take time for you to find the right therapist, but not everyone is the right one for you. But when you find it, it's worth it.
Right. And I think I would also like to add something that just in case you are experiencing your signs of depression or any other mental disorder, please reach out for help. You're not alone, right? Maybe talk to your family, talk to your friends, or reach out to a professional who have credentials, who is qualified enough, to take you under the wing, his or her wing. So please do not think that you're alone in this, and do not fall for these scams.
Yeah.
Right. So, everyone, if you are dealing with depression or any other mental health disorder, या फिर कुछ signs है, कुछ normal से abnormal है, you feel, just please reach out for help. And with this, does anyone have any questions?
I would like to say thank you to Mansi. Hi.
Thank you, Nancy.
Right.
Okay, so my book Abnormal is available on Amazon, Flipkart, and Kindle, and it's
Yeah,
very affordable, so anybody can buy it.
Yeah, so do check it out, guys.
exactly. Please do buy and do read it. Yeah.
Right.
So we shall close this session. Yeah.
Yeah, I think, and
Okay.
if you
So
guys have any other question, I think you can DM us if you want, if you have any query. Right?
yes. Okay. So a formal note of thank you to Kusharan for joining us and sharing insights about her book. And yeah, that's all for the interview today. And thank you, the audience, for tuning in. And be sure to check out Gusharan's book titled Abnormal. And till the next time, do follow Alpas Therapy and Writings by Gusharan. And take care of yourself.
Thank you, guys. Thank
Alright,
you so much. I love
bye
the book.
bye.
Okay,
Please.
thanks everyone.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.